It's a phenomenon that's going on and on in some of Europe's top leagues. One title after another, certain teams are becoming unbeatable.
It feels like these teams are going to win their league every year nowadays. So, is this the end of real competition? And how do they keep doing it? There are all sorts of reasons. We're going to take a look at three in particular: money, mentality, and the self-perpetuating cycle that winning creates.
Firstly, money. You just can't ignore it. And increasingly it sets the tone for who wins and loses in football. So how much do Bayern, Juve and PSG throw their wealth around? A lot. Bayern have long been a commercial giant with massive revenues compared to other teams in Germany. The club has used its international success to continually beef up its sponsorship deals. The effect has allowed them to tilt the balance of power in the Bundesliga in their favour. They've made 8 of the 9 most expensive purchases in Bundesliga history. The biggest of the lot was Lucas Hernandez, bought last year from Atletico Madrid for €80 million, almost double the price of the Bundesliga's second most expensive signing, Julian Draxler. In fact, the champ spent more than €100 million on their back line last year, something nobody else in the league could even consider. €100 million was also roughly the fee that Juventus shelled out for a 33-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. Overall, the Bianconeri have been behind almost half of the top 20 dearest signings in Italy. Their financial muscle goes back decades, thanks to the support of the Agnelli family, one of the richest industrial dynasties in the world. As for PSG, do I even need to say it? The Qatari royal family bought the club in 2011, and since then it's been one-way traffic in France. Neymar, Mbappé, Cavani, and so on. Overall, 15 of the top 20 Ligue 1 signings have been PSG arrivals, with more than €1 billion invested overall. Compare that to England, where several clubs spend big every year, and no team has ever won more than 3 titles back-to-back. Or Spain, where Real and Barcelona both go big in the transfer market and trade dominance in the league.
If the cash is more spread out, it's much harder to build up a monopoly. But as much as rival fans would love to make out that it's all about the money, there really is more to it. It's often just as important that a club has the right mentality.
Take Bayern. The Mia San Mia philosophy isn't just about photo ops at Oktoberfest. It's a commitment to putting the success of the club over individual glory. Above all, Bayern believe that winning the Bundesliga is not just a target, but an absolute necessity. It's the minimum requirement every season.
Und das ist das, was ein Bayern-Spieler oder ein Spieler, der beim FC Bayern München spielt, verstehen muss. Es gibt nie einen Moment bei diesem Verein, wo man sich zurücklehnen kann.
Players who don't have that mentality or don't buy into the club's philosophy generally don't last long. And the same goes for coaches who don't seem up to the job. Juventus have similar expectations of success, so much so that it's one of the club's mottos. Winning isn't important, it's the only thing that counts. A quote that sums up the Juve approach, coined by former captain and director Gianpiero Boniperti.
And this is where you get to another problem that rivals of these teams have. The longer these spells go on, the harder it gets to break them. The cycle gets more and more likely to repeat itself.
Players who have experience of winning titles know what it takes to do it again. And to other teams, they start to look invincible. Increasingly, it feels inevitable that the reigning champions will go on to win it again next year.
And that also means the best players all want to play for those clubs. Forget about the money for a moment. If one club is way more likely to win trophies than all the others, then of course they will attract the stars.
That's why Bayern were able to prize Götze, Lewandowski, and Hummels away from Dortmund. Sure, the money helped, but the guarantee of winning titles is always going to be decisive. The same goes for PSG, who hoover up much of the best French talent. A prime example is the signing of Kylian Mbappé in 2017. PSG had just lost the league title, the only time that has happened in recent years. So, what did they do? they convinced Monaco's brightest talent that he'd win more in the capital. Obviously, that was a good call, as they immediately re-established their dominance.
So, with all that said, is there any hope that a team could end one of these streaks? Well, basically, they'll need a lot of luck. These teams are all racking up huge points totals every year. The only way they're giving up their crowns is if they screw up and another team has a historic season, both in the same year.
If you need inspiration, look to the longest title winning streak in the world from the Pacific Island country of Vanuatu. Tefea FC won the Port Vila Football League 15 years in a row, but even that winning streak came to an end eventually.
So, if you're a Bundesliga, Serie A or Liga fan and you're sick of seeing the same team win the league every year, don't give up hope.